All right, let's just get right into it. If you're new to creating stuff with AI, you know the feeling. You're wasting a ton of time, burning through credits, and you're just not getting that one result you want. But what if I told you most of that frustration, it comes from just a handful of really common, predictable, and honestly, totally fixable mistakes?
And that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to fix them. For real, if you're new to this, what I'm about to show you is going to save you hours of guesswork. We're skipping the fluff and going straight to the practical fixes you can use literally on your next project.
And look, let's be super clear about something. Everybody makes these mistakes when they're starting out. It's just part of the learning curve, right? So just think of this as a friendly guide to help you skip the most painful parts of that curve and get right to making cool stuff. So let's start by just taking a look at the whole list of these beginner hurdles. Sometimes just seeing them all laid out is the first step to actually avoiding them. Okay, so here are some of the big ones. We've got things like vague prompts, forgetting to add important style keywords like photorealistic, or maybe not giving the AI any motion cues for video. Then there's the more technical stuff, like using the right aspect ratio and understanding the power of a negative prompt. Now, we're not going to dissect all 9 of these today. Instead, we're going to focus on the ones that cause the most headaches and waste the most credits, kicking things off with the biggest one of all, the vague prompt. So let's take that first mistake, the vague prompt, and really break it down. Because I'm telling you, mastering this one skill is going to have the single biggest impact on your results. It really all boils down to one simple question. How much does a single word actually matter? Is it really worth spending that extra 30 seconds to tweak your prompt? Well, let's take a look at a classic before and after, and you can see for yourself.
So check this out. It's kind of crazy how much difference a few words make. The image on the left, that came from the prompt, a photo of a car. That's it. The AI basically has to guess everything else. But the image on the right, that came from a much clearer vision. A red vintage sports car on a coastal road at sunset, photorealistic, cinematic lighting. You see the difference, right? The AI isn't guessing anymore, it's executing a specific command.
And that's the key takeaway here. Specificity is what turns a generic, kind of random idea into a stunning, actually usable asset. You're basically shifting from pulling a slot machine lever to being the director of a photo shoot. This is the foundation for getting pro-level results every single time. All right, now let's talk about the mistakes that don't just eat up your time, they eat up your credits. If you're on a budget or, hey, you just don't like throwing money away, this next section is absolutely for you. These are the top 3 credit wasters we see people make every single day. And the number one biggest mistake, the one that drains your balance faster than anything else, is this one, jumping straight to video generation. It is so tempting, I get it. You write a prompt and you just want to see that amazing video come to life. But here's the catch. Generating even a few seconds of high-quality video can cost way more than generating a single image. If your prompt isn't dialed in yet, you're just burning through credits on failed experiments. But there's a really smart solution, the image first pipeline. This is the workflow the pros use. You test out your ideas using fast, low-cost image models first. You use them to nail down the exact look, the style, the lighting, everything. Once you have an image that you absolutely love, then you take that perfected prompt, and sometimes even the image itself as a reference, over to a video model. This way, you're only spending the big credits when you're already confident in the result. Okay, let's move on to the second major credit waster. This one is all about picking the right tool for the right stage of your creative process. And that mistake is using quality or pro modes when you're just working on drafts. I mean, those modes are incredible for your final exports. They give you the highest detail, the best quality, but they use a lot more credits because they're doing a lot more work. They just aren't meant for the early brainstorming phase. The fix here is super simple. Just prototype with the fast modes. Most platforms have these modes that are specifically designed for quick, low-cost iteration. You can spit out a bunch of ideas in a fraction of the time and for a fraction of the cost. Get your concept locked in using a fast draft mode, and then spend the credits to render out that final version in the highest quality possible. And that brings us to our third big credit wasting habit. This one's less about the tech and a little more about your mindset. It's the habit of just re-rolling a vague prompt over and over. You've probably done this. You write something kind of generic, you don't love the result, so you just hit generate again and again and again, just hoping that the AI will magically read your mind. Every single one of those re-rolls cost credits, and frankly, it's a losing game. So the fix is to refine the prompt. Don't just re-roll it. The pros know that it often takes 3 to 5 iterations to get that perfect asset. But those are prompt iterations, not just blind rerolls. So instead of just hitting generate again, invest that time in adding one more detail, one more style keyword, or maybe a negative prompt to tell the AI what you don't want. It is always, always cheaper to improve your instructions than to just gamble on the output.
So, once you start avoiding these common pitfalls, what does your path to becoming a pro actually look like? Well, it's actually pretty straightforward.
Let's just quickly recap the key takeaways here. First, be specific, like ridiculously specific, and always use style keywords in your prompts. Second, get into the image-first habit. Always prototype with cheap images before you even think about generating an expensive video. And third, use fast modes for testing out your ideas and save those quality modes for your final approved masterpieces.
So what's your next step? It's simple. Don't try to do all of this at once. Just pick one of these fixes, just one, and consciously use it on your very next project. Whether it's taking an extra minute to refine a prompt or just starting with an image first, that one small change is going to make a huge difference, I promise. And that's a wrap. I'm really curious, which one of these mistakes resonated with you the most? For me, when I first started, it was definitely jumping straight to video. I wasted so many credits that way. Let us know which one was yours in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in.